but it's so much fun to look back. Like you say, you have these times in your life where you're questioning what you're doing and saying, boy, this is a little scary, but when you get through it and, from the lessons you learn of failure, temporary failure to success, when you get through it, it's like, so it feels so good. Right. nobody can understand that feeling and how good it feels when you get through the toughest times. When the bank's kind of looking at you, wondering if you're going to stay alive, wonder if they should shut your doors for you. Right. And then when you get through them, you get those conversations with your banker because they know, right? You can say, you remember what, I golf with my banker once or twice a year, the CEO of the bank I bank with. And it's fun because he's seen our few big, tough times over the last 20 years and 30 years. And it's fun to talk to him about that because you find out now that he questioned whether he should keep you in business or not, right? Because he had the ability to pull the plug and it would have been the end of me. so for you, the same thing, right?
Yeah, the conversation's over, when you're a startup and they're like, well, we can't give you any more money. And then, when you look at, 9/11, who expected the economy to crash like it was? But yeah, when the recession there's so many businesses in the same boat for us, 2008, 9, and 10, where the bank's like, you really need to turn things around, because we were, like so many companies, you had a big drop in revenue because of the recession. But we came out, we had a very solid strategic plan and a vision, and we've just since then, 14 to 16, I doubled the business, and we got in more states. And I think all those experiences really helped us when COVID hit, and all your employees are looking at you saying, well, am I going to have a job? You hear, we helped our clients lay off 7,000 people during the first 45 days of the pandemic. So it was a pretty dark period for a lot of people, and it's great to see the businesses reopening, and it's been a long struggle for a lot of businesses though through COVID.
So Rob, so for me, the exciting times for me, and I look back, right, and it weren't that exciting when it was going on, but the pivoting that we had to do to go into markets that we thought would be sustainable through tough times. And I got hit hard in the 90s with some bad business deal, doing business for people that didn't pay me, went out of business, developers that went bankrupt, right? So in the 90s, I had some tough times in the late 90s. We stayed alive, but, grew through it. But then I did work for good customers that I liked a lot, and they had budgeted money to pay me. This is the big facilities leaders across the Chicagoland area. And I said, man, those are the best customers. They're like 15% of my customers. And so I realized I had to grow my business in that space and get away from developers and the risky builders and developers that will go out of business in tough times like 9/11, 2008, and all that, right? So anyway, what happened was we positioned ourselves by 2008 to be in like 95% of our business were facilities owners that had budgeted money. They always budget their money annually to spend and maintain their properties. And so 2008, 9, 10, 11 were our biggest growth years in our history of our business, because we went, while other companies like me had 10% or 20% of their business in the facility space, the 70, 80% killed their businesses. So we had a lot of competitors went out of business, and we stayed alive because we were, 90% in the space we wanted to be in, right? And so, not that we didn't make more mistakes in 2015 and almost lost everything again in another way, another story. But overall, pivoting in business to understand your what's sustainable and what businesses will get you through the tough times, or what businesses are the strongest in economic trouble, right? And so, tell me about what you've seen in your business, right? And then also being in front of so many businesses like you are, man, you must see trends, incredible trends that you probably consult your customers on too, right? In the same respect.
Yeah, and so going prior to the recession in 8, 9, and 10, we were very heavily in the trade show business, and we still do a lot in the trade show business. Our clients set up and take down trade show booths around the country, and for us, it was an area where we did it well. We provide customized solutions, so we found what their headaches were, and we provide the solution. So we're the largest HR outsourcing / payroll company to trade shows across the country over the last 5, 7, 10 years or so. And so for that, unfortunately, that industry really took a hit in 8, 9, and 10 because of the recession. People just stopped going to trade shows, tightened their budgets, backed out. So at that point we realized we really need to be a lot more diverse. We can't have 70% of our business in one industry. So we've from at that point on, now it represents probably 20% of our business. But
boy, I can't imagine what happened, through COVID, because I know the trade shows that I go to were eliminated. So I can't imagine how that maneuvering back then saved you now.
Yeah, if we, our trade show wise, we did in 19 about $80 million of trade show business, and so that there was no, starting in the middle of March last year, there was no trade show business. We've this first quarter we've seen them back in Florida, Texas, Arizona, kind of the southern states. You're not seeing anything in Chicago, New York, other your major markets.
So you can say it, Rob. You're saying it active back in the smart states, and the stupid states still don't get it.
Yeah, it's a shame when you've got they're hoping to see the auto show at McCormick Place in July, and they're talking about the smaller West building instead of the main building. But yeah, your southern states are open. There's nothing going on in I think in San Diego Convention Center. They can't open if they wanted to. Half of it's homeless, and the other half they're putting the illegal immigrants that are coming in from Mexico into the convention center. So the same thing with a number of other markets. So it's a slow recovery in your northern states, but
so Rob, you're not as blunt as I am, but you're too nice. But I call it stupid states and smart states, and I think it's pretty clear that those states are using safety in every aspect they can to keep people coming and keep their economies open. And you got to admire that when we got stupid states like Illinois and California that don't get it. They don't care almost because they could keep their economies open. They just have to be in a smart way. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Miami today. I've been down in Florida for a few days at hosting, seeing some clients, and I was in West Palm for a day. I've been in Miami for a few, and Florida is alive. People are in the street. People are wearing masks, but the businesses are open. There's no restrictions. I was in Chicago. Stacy and I were down on Michigan Avenue on Sunday, and it's stuff's boarded up. There's nobody walking around. It's a completely different feel in Chicago than it is in Florida.
And the sad thing is it doesn't have to be that way. But yeah, we won't get into politics. Right. I might be involved in some politics here in the future days ahead. So I probably shouldn't to spend too much time there. And you're a business guy, but you can feel the difference, right?
And we need leaders like you to get to when you're talking about raising your hand and volunteering. We need people like you to raise your hand and say, enough of this. The politics have to change. We need to repair our state. So
absolutely.
So appreciate guys like yourself that raise your hand, because it can't stay the way it is.